Have that. And present. So thank you so much again. It is a pleasure to be here. And we are going to be talking today about building your brand persona, understanding your audience. And what I want you to be mindful of are the activities that we are going to be doing, because they're going to help you in everything that you do. There are a number of you on here, so I want to know exactly what you are actually doing, what type of business you're in. So just, there's a poll that has come up. You can just tell me exactly what type of business you're in, so that we can know who, or that I can know who I am talking to today. So 2 persons said they're a small company. 3 persons. Everybody seems to be small business, not a startup. Quite fine, not a nonprofit, not a ministry. So I know that I'm talking to all business women here on the screen. So thank you so, so much. So I'm Dr. Vicki Otaruyina, and my role here is to help you in the process of understanding your audience. 1 person said that they're a startup. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next slide. So what does an elevation coach do? As an elevation coach, I help persons to reach their fullest potential. So whether you are in business, whether you are a minister, whether you're a startup, whether you're an individual, whoever you are, my job that God has given to me is to help you to become the greatest version of yourself, or the fullest, reach your fullest potential. So in the area of business, I do a lot of marketing. I do a lot of purpose coaching as well, and I'm able to mesh those experiences to be able to help persons develop their brands, their personal brands, and their business brands as well. So here is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about, number one, we're going to do an introduction and an icebreaker. We're going to do that very quickly. We're going to also talk about understanding personal brand. Thirdly, personal reflection activity. So we're going to do a personal reflection activity. We're going to identify and define your target audience. We're going to help you do an actual template exercise. What does that audience look like? So I'm going to help you do a template. And I'm also going to help you in creating and sharing your audience persona or personas, because sometimes we have more than one. And number 7, we're going to talk about the effective communication techniques in relation to the specific persona that you're working with. What are those communications techniques that you must take into consideration when you are working with each, or trying to attract various audiences? And lastly, we're going to move into our question and answer, and what are some of the next steps that you and I can take. So let's talk about the introduction and the icebreaker. First of all, I want to say to you that I'm happy to have you here today. Welcome to today's presentation. And it's important for you to understand your target audience and create effective audience personas. So whether you're a startup, founder, an entrepreneur, whether you're a master at this game, mastering everything that you've done before, it is important that you drive your company to success. And by accurately defining your target audience and developing your personas, you gain invaluable insights about them. You gain invaluable insights about them, their needs, their behaviors, their preferences. This knowledge then enhances your ability to tailor your services, to tailor your products, to enhance everything that you're doing. And it helps you to strengthen how you communicate with them, how you engage with them, and of course, strengthen your ability to create loyal customers, right? It's very, very important. So today we're going to delve into some practical strategies and real world experience examples to illustrate how these different tools, how these different exercises that you're going to do will help you effectively communicate and then build your brand value. So we're going to move into that icebreaker. And so I want each of you to just come on this screen as we do this icebreaker. Just come on this screen. So you got to turn on your camera, of course, and tell us what you do in 30 seconds, who you are, where you're from, and what you do. So anybody can go. I'm from Barbados. I'm Dr. Vicki Otaruyina from Barbados, and I help women and I help individuals, specifically women, businesses, ministries, and nonprofits reach their fullest potential, of course, as individuals and as persons running brands as well. So tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do. So you can unmute. You can please turn on your camera. Go ahead, Jacqueline, I see your camera is on. Or anybody unmute.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Seavey, referred to as Jackie. I currently live in Barbados, but I lived in the US for many years. I'm a hotelier and hospitality consultant by profession, but I'm transitioning now into being an entrepreneur and building my brand as a podcast host, music developer, and hosting conferences as well, and concerts. So that's the purpose I'm here, is to just gain some insight on how I can build my brand moving forward and transition from a hotelier into being a business owner. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Veronica?
I am Veronica Sutherland. I'm from Jamaica, and I am a divorce-proof coach who helps professional wives to achieve a harmonious balance between marriage and work using biblical principles.
Thank you so much. Next here I see Stephanie, Pamela, Nicole.
Hi, I'm Pamela. I'm originally from Nigeria, but I've lived in the US for many, many, many years. I started as a registered nurse and I worked in the hospital setting for over 20 years, and then I made the switch. So now I am a certified trauma recovery coach, starting my business for the very first time. Never had any experience with running a business, so this is all new to me. So I'm looking forward to learning. Thank you for offering this this course.
You're most welcome. Stephanie, you just have to press your unmute thing.
Okay, there it goes. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Myers from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I coach women to help manage the biases they face in the workplace and in their businesses.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Pamela, Nicole, and Sonia. Any of the three, you can go. Go ahead, Nicole.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I am a counselor, an educator, and coach. And what do? I help people to overcome challenges, build more resilience, and a better understanding of who they are so that they can move into being all that they are called to be.
Thank you, Pamela. And then Sonia, you can go. If Pamela doesn't come on, Sonia, you can go.
Good evening, everyone.
We can't hear you.
Thank you for this. You can hear me? You can hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Vicki, for this opportunity. I am a photographer and designer transitioning to be a coach. My passion is to help persons to be transformed so that they can lead their businesses and their ministries more authentically. I'm also an author and an entrepreneur as well as a teacher. And my goal is to see people, be able to discover themselves, and then go on to understand the full scope of their God-given capacity, understand how that all has been so strategically, intentionally woven into them being able to walk in their divine calling and be able to navigate the challenges that produce that whole wonderful scope of abilities that God has given and activated within their life. So that is me in a nutshell.
Okay, so Pamela says she can't unmute, but of course you can share in the chat what you do, where you're from, and so on. So thank you, everyone. I am so blessed to have you here. So many different fields that you work in, and I think about 2 or 3 coaches, which is very awesome. So I'm going to be offering some examples based on what you guys just shared with me to make it real for you and to help you as you go forward. So our next section here, we're going to be talking about personal branding or a personal brand. I know you all hear about brands all the time. We hear about Nike, we hear about McDonald's, we hear about all the Facebook, all those brands, but behind the brand is a personal brand. So anytime you're out there as a coach, anytime you're out there doing anything and offering a service, your personal brand is very important. So your personal brand is really the unique combination of the skills, the experiences, the personality that defines any individual and differentiates them from others. So your personal brand is composed of 3 or 4 different things: your values, your mission and your vision, and your unique selling proposition. So personal branding, it's important for you to look at who you are as a person and build a strong brand that resonates with who you are targeting. So personal branding is the practice, and I hope you have your notebooks, it's the practice of creating a unique image and identity for yourself in the minds of others. So before you create a product, before you create a service, behind all of that is who delivers it, which is you, which is me, or which is I. We deliver the brand. So our personal brand, our brand as Vicki, as Sonia, as Jacqueline, your brand matters because when people see you, they see that coaching service. When people see you, they see whatever it is that you're offering to the market. So personal branding is the practice of creating a unique image and identity of yourself in the minds of others, particularly in a professional context. It involves presenting yourself in a way that highlights your skills, your experiences, your values, and making you stand out from others, but making you stand out. Why is personal branding important? Number 1, differentiation. In a competitive market, a strong personal brand differentiates you from others with other similar skills and experiences. It creates trust and credibility. So that consistent image, whatever you do out there, whether it's your speaking, the way you dress, how you present yourself in meetings, how you present yourself on social media, how you present yourselves when you're doing webinars, how you present yourself when you're doing social media lives. A consistent and authentic personal brand builds trust and credibility. So you can't come on your life today with your hair frazzled, with everything out of place. You can see food in your teeth. No, that's not building the image that you want to project to others and associate with the service or the product that you're offering. So it builds trust and credibility. If I see you come on with all your wig coming off, I can see the tracks. Yes, these things happen, but if you're coming on to speak to me about something professional and you're coming on to teach me, I'm not going to see you very trustworthy or credible. That will turn off others. So you got to be consistent and authentic. And this helps you build trust and credibility with your audience, clients, and stakeholders. Of course, opportunities are presented. So a well-crafted brand, personal brand, can open doors for you. People will ask you to speak. People will ask you to be interviewed. People will ask you to come on their shows. People will want to know okay, let me hear more. Let me come to this session that she's offering because she's presented herself in a way that is very credible. So a well-crafted, let's get my notes here. A well-crafted personal brand can open doors to new opportunities, partnerships, collaborations, and in the case of professional careers and career advancement. It also causes influence. So your personal brand establishes you as a thought leader and an influencer in your industry. So Jacqueline, if anybody's doing a podcast, you want to share that information with me right now so I can use that as an example, but what type of podcast you're doing and what it's going to be telling others, I'll use that as an example right now, because we're talking about building those partnerships and creating opportunities. We have to build brands that people will want to connect with us. And we're not out there trying to look like anybody else, trying to do anything about, like anybody else, but we're creating that image that we were created to project. So what are the key components of personal brands? So if Jacqueline, I'm not sure if she's sharing, but anybody else can share too, because I will use your examples as I go along. So some of those key components of any brand, personal, your service that you're offering, whatever company you're offering, you have to have some core values. Your core values are the beliefs, guiding actions, and decisions. So when you go on a lot of websites, corporations, companies all around the world, you will see they have their values, their mission, their vision, and sometimes they will tell you what my unique selling proposition is. So this morning we talked about unique value proposition, which is a little bit different from your selling proposition. But I want you to go back to that morning session and really look at that, because that will help us quite a bit as we go forward in business. So your core values guide your actions and your decisions. So some of these examples might be integrity, creativity, innovation. But your core values are your fundamental beliefs that guide your actions and decisions. So who is Nicole? Who is Pamela? Who is Veronica? Who is Stephanie? Who is Jacqueline? Who is Vicki? What are my fundamental beliefs that will guide my coaching business? When I have my coaching website, what are these values that will be listed there? When I have these values there, am I presenting myself in the way that I say, or according to the things that I claim that I value? That's very important. What you claim you value, you must represent as a brand. So the next, coming after your values, so I want to say here, okay, so let me tell you the importance. Aligning your personal brand with your core values ensures the authenticity and the consistency that I just spoke about. So let's move to mission and vision. Your mission is your purpose and what you aim to achieve. So what is the why behind what you do? What are you going to say is your why for that coaching business? What are you going to say is your why for that trauma coaching business? What are you going to say is your why for that divorce proofing business? What are you going to say is your why for your transformation coaching business? So your mission is your purpose and what you aim to achieve. Your vision is your long-term goal and the impact that you want to make. So your vision is what you want to be known as in the future. Your vision is the long-term goals and impact. So an example of a mission to inspire and empower individuals to achieve their full potential, and an example of your vision, becoming a leading expert in sustainable business practices. So what is your why? Why are you existing? What is the purpose for that business? What is the purpose for that personal brand that you're creating, or personal and business brand? And then what do you want to be known as in the future? What is this long-term goal, and what's the major overall impact that you want to make? So your unique selling proposition now position or zooms in on a specific unique aspect that sets that product or service apart from its competition. So an example of your unique selling proposition is offering a unique blend of strategic thinking and creative problem solving. So what is the value that you bring to the table? You bring strategic thinking. You bring creative problem solving. So the unique benefit or value because we can say value as well. The unique benefit or value you offer that sets you apart. And an example here is I help tech startups scale rapidly through innovative digital marketing strategies. I'm going to read that again. Another example for a unique selling proposition is that I help tech startups scale rapidly through innovative digital marketing strategies. When you are able to say, I do ABC for ABC, then you know who you are. Then you understand your brand. Then you understand your why. And then you understand, then you move into the who are you giving it to, or who are you selling it to? So it is important that your USP is written out, because it highlights and makes you unique from others, and it tells others, why should I choose Jacqueline? Why should I choose Sonia? Why should I choose Pamela? So I'm going to move on from this slide. Our next slide. So we're talking about values. We're talking about mission and vision and your unique selling proposition. Because you and I, we have to build personal brands that people will want to work with. We have to build business brands that people would want to work with. And as we provide this service, we are the representation of that brand. So we want to be unique. And at the same time, we want to be credible with it. And we want to be clear. And we want people to fully understand what is it that we're truly offering. So why is it important to align your personal brand? Why is it important to align your personal brand with your business goals? So aligning your personal brand with your business goals is crucial for any startup and any entrepreneur. So when your values, your mission, your vision, your unique strength match your business goals, you create a genuine and trustworthy image that appeals to customers and, of course, investors. So if I say that my mission, for instance, is to bring healing to women, to the lives of women who have been abused, if that's my mission, then all my goals, my business goals should line up with that. My business goals should not line up with attracting men who have been hurt or abused, because I specifically outlined women. So it's important for them to align. So you create a genuine and a trustworthy image that appeals to your customers and investors. The alignment helps you focus on opportunities to play to your strengths and passions, and driving innovation and growth. So regularly also refining your personal brand to match your entrepreneurial goals ensures a consistent identity that supports your long-term business success and personal satisfaction. All of that nice conversation there, all of what that is saying is basically be clear on your values, be clear on your mission, your vision, and what is the unique value or the unique selling proposition that you bring to the table. Because when you're clear on that, everything else that you do and people see will reflect that. Or whatever you do will reflect that. And secondly, once you do that, you will obviously create goals that are in alignment with that, and you'll be able to reach the audience that you want to reach. So if anybody has any questions at this point, because we're a small in number, you can go ahead and put those questions as we move on to the next slide. So we're going to do a little bit of personal reflection at this time. And I want you to scan this code with your phone, because, and if you don't have access to a phone that can scan, I can easily send it by email to you if you drop your email in the chat. But we're going to move into this personal reflection survey, because you are going to begin now to create your own brand elements, and you're going to as a personal brand. So I want you to scan this code. And if you're not able to download it on the computer or the phone and begin typing in, please write down the different aspects, the different sections, and begin to write. and begin to answer the questions. You have 20 minutes to do this. So at 4 o'clock, we're coming back together and we're going to briefly discuss, or 5 minutes to 4, so that you and I can discuss what you've put on that reflection. So I want you to look at the page. It's going to tell you, the purpose of this exercise is to help you to reflect on your personal and professional attributes and the values and goals that you have. And this will aid you in defining your personal brand and preparing. It has preparing for the workshop, because it would have come before, but this is going to help you know in this workshop. So I want you to complete this survey now with your reflections. And if anybody has done it already as the homework, that's great. Please let me know in the chat. But I want you to go into this now and begin to look at the questions. One of the questions is describe yourself. List 3 adjectives that best describes you. This exercise allows you to unravel some aspects about yourself, your strengths, and your identities, which are going to be very helpful as you plan going forward to work with various audiences. So I want you to scan it. The exercise begins now. I want you to scan your code and go directly into that exercise. And we have up to 3:55 to have that completed. And that's in about 15 minutes, about 10 minutes. I'm going to go up to 4 o'clock. So you have those 15 minutes. And then that last 5 minutes, we're going to have a conversation. So we are coming back together right now. And did anybody reach section 6, which asks to draft your personal brand statement? If anybody has done their personal brand statement, which is using this format, I am Vicki, a whoever who helps the audience achieve whatever benefit by doing whatever. So let me share mine with you, but if anybody's completed theirs, we're going to work backwards. So you're going to share your brand statement, and then I'm going to briefly explain why each of these questions in this survey is extremely important. So mine is, I am Vicki Otaruyina, an elevation coach who helps women. So I'm going to use the audience of women the benefit to overcome the hurts and pains of their past by living heal, whole, and purpose-driven lives. So I sell heal, whole, and purpose-driven lives. That's my unique selling proposition. I sell healed, whole, and purpose-driven lives. And how do I do that? I use also, I could have said, by using a specific tool or using a specific set of techniques, which allows them to identify the things that are hindering them and preventing them from being the greatest version of themselves, while giving them strategies to become so. So instead of putting all that long thing in there, by living healed, whole, and purpose-driven lives. So I am Vicki Otaruyina, an elevation coach who helps women. And later on, we're going to talk about what type of women, because we have to be very specific there, overcome the hurts and pains of their past by living healed, whole, and purpose-driven lives. So if you feel free to share your personal statement that you have done. What is a personal statement? And we talked about that's your unique selling proposition. But why is a personal statement so important? Because you're telling people exactly who you are, what you do, and who you do it for. And why is that important? Because if someone wants a service from you or wants to buy something from you, they won't know that unless you tell them who you're catering for, why you're catering to them, and what it is that they get when they come to you. So is anybody going to share theirs? If not, that's fine. Remember, this personal statement is what sums up all that you do, and it differentiates you in the market that you're serving in. It differentiates you and it shows your uniqueness in whatever market that you're operating in. So let's say you were a transformational, right? So Sonia says she's not, yeah, section 8. And that's why I sent it out to everybody so we could get, because I know it will take a while. But we started the task and it's important for you to finish this task. And I'm going to share exactly why each of these elements are important. So number 1 says, and Veronica, you said you completed it. You can share your personal statement, your personal brand statement. But the first section talks about objectives. Sorry, what are some of the adjectives, that best describe who you are? A lot of the times we are not able to describe who we are. We're not able to give ourselves descriptive words. But as we're doing this, we're opening up ourselves to really see what's inside and who we are. To talk about strengths and weaknesses, I may say that I am there to do ABC, but there may be strengths and weaknesses inside of me that stop me from fully being able to do that. So as I address those strengths and weaknesses, I am better able to see where do I need to improve my life and what are the things I need to address urgently that could affect me or stop me from doing what I said that I am called to do. So acknowledging your strengths allows you to leverage them in your personal and professional life, while recognizing that your weaknesses, they can help you identify areas of improvement and growth. This self-awareness, remember, this is all about self-awareness here. This self-awareness is crucial for your personal development, your professional development, and of course, effective branding. And there are times that we have to be real with the weaknesses that we have. And depending on the type of service or business that we're offering, even sharing some of those weaknesses and how you overcome resonate well with your audience. And they, as we talked about authenticity and credibility, these things alone help you to be more credible in what you're doing. We talked about the question here on section 2, your values. Of course, we spoke about values before and why values are important. Are you still seeing my screen? Yes. So we talked about why values are important. I'm just going to go back to that slide so those that came in can see. They're the core beliefs that guide your actions and decisions. Your professional goals or your business goals, your ministry goals. It's important for you to set these goals because you need to know where you're going, what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish, and so on. So outlining your goals ensures that you have a clear roadmap. This planning helps you to stay organized, allocate resources effectively, and monitor your progress. So this is just not any old exercise. This personal reflection survey helps you to bring your mind in alignment with what you're really doing, who you're doing it for, and if you're doing it effectively. If there are things that are hindering you right now that you need to fix, if there are skills that you need to entertain or to improve on, or courses that you may even have to take to help you get to where you want to go to. We talked about listing your 5 skills, your 5 top skills and areas of expertise. Sometimes we don't list these skills and we're not taking advantage of them the way that we should when we're offering various services. So this helps you to look at those skills. And why is it important? Identifying those skills, it helps you to be able to provide, it helps you to be able to analyze everything that is inside of you and see how best you can use these skills in the business that or the service that you're offering. Of course, our unique selling proposition, we talked about that, what it is that sets us apart. And we then go on to role models. Sometimes we think about doing everything ourselves, And we can't do everything ourselves. There's some people in our life, some people that we look at that we may want to say, okay, I love this skill about them. I love this specific area of their lives. And then God sometimes uses those people so that we can see how we can adopt and adapt to some of the things that they're doing, or the ways that they're doing, the motivation from them to become better versions of ourselves. So we ask why are these persons your role models? What is it that you can take from them to help you go to the next phase or next stage? We also ask about inspirational quotes. All these are things that are helping you to delve inside of who you are, and then your personal brand statement. Using this formula, I am a professional role who helps you put your target audience and achieve what by doing what. What's that unique selling proposition? What's that value that you bring to the table? What is it that you're bringing? Healed, whole, and purpose-driven lives is what I'm bringing to the table. As a trauma coach, what are you bringing to the table? What is the value that you're bringing to the table? Is it that you're bringing clear minds to, I'm just coming up with things here, but as a trauma coach, is it clear minds to live in freedom after whatever? And I'm just throwing things out. But additional reflections, what are some of your professional challenges, and what are your opportunities for growth? Remember, we're talking about building your personal brand. As you see those opportunities for growth in life, you will begin to push yourself towards making sure that you grow, you making sure that you improve on what you're offering. And as you're doing that, you're obviously building that brand. You're obviously repositioning yourself as someone who is capable, as someone who's professional, and as someone who is able to change lives in whatever area that you're in. So I only saw one person share. So I'm just going to go over to the chat to see what was shared. And we have here, okay, Pamela shared also. Veronica says, I am Veronica Sutherland, a divorce-proof coach who helps professional wives achieve, and she said professional wives, she's very clear there on her target audience, professional wives achieve a harmonious balance between work and marriage using biblical principles. And I would have loved that everybody could have had their personal statement, because it's going to become much clearer when we talk about really defining the audience. I am Pamela Abijah, a trauma recovery coach who helps her target audience, adult survivors of childhood abuse, heal. So she's not just saying women, as I said, but she's helping adult survivors of childhood abuse. Very clear. And move out of the survival mode so that they can thrive and live a more fulfilling life by using inner child work. So she's saying what she does, somatic awareness and emotional regulation technique. So if I was going to use mine, I would say by using what I say is that by using a SOAR template. So SOAR, the template of soaring in life. So I love what Pamela has here. I love what Veronica has. Veronica is working with professional wives, and Pamela is working with adult survivors of childhood abuse. Who are you working with? And what are you doing for them? Veronica is bringing harmonious balance between work and marriage using biblical principles. What is Pamela bringing to the table? Her values that she's going to bring the ability to thrive in life and fulfilling lives. So she brings fulfillment in life. That's the value. And she does that by, she uses some techniques. So let's move on. If you haven't finished, you can continue at your leisure. And of course, you can share those with me as well. If you want any advice or you want to just share with me for comments or whatever, you can. So let's move on to our group discussion. Well, we would have done this because everybody's not finished, so we can't do it as a group discussion. But I want both Veronica and Pamela, Pamela, to share some of the key insights when you did your reflection. So only two persons are able to share, because I don't think everybody completed, because I was going to break you out into breakout rooms at this point. But I want both Veronica and Pamela to share. I'm saying Pamela, is not Pamela. Yes, Pamela, yes. I want you to share and just give your key insights. So what are some of the things that you thought of that happened? How did it help you? What was the process like for you? Anybody? Pamela, Veronica? Don't be afraid. We're here to communicate. Oh, Pamela says need to unmute.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Okay.
So I actually have done something like this before when I launched my business, as far as the putting out the statements. But I feel like I need to do this whole thing again because I've been through this before, and in a different form. It was a different format, but this is really, really good. I didn't complete all pages, but I would say that because I feel like I'm still growing and evolving, so these things do change over time as far as strengths and weaknesses and areas of expertise. But I would say for me that some of the insights or things that that kind of came up in my mind as I was going through my adjectives. I still struggle with that.
There you go.
Just like I was just like, so here I am pulling up a whole list of adjectives on Google to say, okay, which one do I resonate with? So I feel like I may need to go and actually pull up a list and just kind of like go through, because I struggled with writing, I know that I am very practical and pragmatic, but I know there's more to it than just that.
Yes.
So that's the one thing that I kind of discovered, like, okay, I need to spend some time putting my adjectives together. Weaknesses is always a tough one, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. But yeah. What else can I say? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I love that you said that you have to do those objectives, because if we are clear on who we are and what we want to project as one, building a personal brand, then if we're able to share it with confidence and say who we are, then as we try to attract our audience, we will be attracting the audience that identifies with us and what we bring to the table. If we can't even say who we are fully and describe who we are, it might not be always easy to attract the right people, because there's some people that are looking for you and for you to define who you are very, very well. As you're able to project who you are, define who you are, it clearly resonates with the one that's supposed to be attracted to you, because you're sharing these things in the way that you speak. You're talking about these things. These adjectives are so clear in the way that you bring over yourselves, and other people may be able to pick them up about you, but you yourself have to be able to reflect, to be able to identify them. Why? Also, you may be offering a service which is built off of your story or your trauma. So a lot of what I do is built off of the trauma that I've been through. A lot of the coaching and persons that I work with are persons who have gone through similar things to what I've gone through. So being able to confidently give some of those objectives and share with and be able to bring them out in my conversations and also reflect them in content that I'm putting out there, it allows those persons that identify with me to also be attracted and also reach out to me. Veronica? You're not unmuted.
Okay. Yes, I heard Pamela reflecting. I don't know.
We can't hear you properly.
Oh, okay. One second. Let me turn off my fan. I think that's it.
Okay.
Oops. Is this
So
better now?
yes, yes.
Yes. Yes, it's pretty hot out here.
I know the Caribbean heat.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so I heard Pamela reflecting some of my ideas there. It was very difficult to do, very difficult. And I went on Google too. I'm confessing.
Wow. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I don't think we think about describing ourselves very often, or descriptive words that describe us very often. If
Yes.
there's anybody that has their adjectives, they can share it in the chat as well.
Yes. And
Yeah, but you've got
while doing it, I said to myself, if it is so difficult to describe me, to describe my weaknesses, my strengths, am I really reflecting to others what I want them to see? When I try to describe what I do, are people really understanding? Because if I'm having difficulties explaining to myself, are people really understanding fully? So that was one question I asked myself. And so I know I'll have to go back over this again and really think carefully about what I put on paper here.
Yes.
Because I am not sure. I did hurriedly somewhat, and I think I need to think more deeply about this exercise. And it's a really good exercise. It helps you to really look at yourself and look at what you're doing. And thank you for this exercise.
You're welcome. Sonia says eloquent, resilient. I like the resilient. I like the eloquent and the excellent. So you obviously, everything you do, obviously is supposed to be showing excellence. You talk very, very eloquently. You do. You talk very eloquently. So you see the eloquence coming out, and you see, and the resilient from your story of resilience. So these are things that should be coming out, and people should be seeing about you. So why is it important to provide these adjectives? Please write this down. When you understand your strengths and your weaknesses, so that's linked to you outlining your strengths and your weaknesses as well. So you choose adjectives that describe yourself, and you gain insight into your key characteristics. What are the key characteristics about yourself? What are some of the key characteristics about yourself? The other thing here is clear self-descriptors help others understand you're fit for various opportunities. You're fit as a coach for them. You're fit as someone who will minister to them, or minister for them, or minister to the women that they may have. So you understanding allows you to clearly, it are clear self-descriptors that help others to understand your fit. So when you can confidently describe yourself, you make a stronger and a more memorable impression in your networking situations, because you know who you are. So your objectives that you can't define says there's a little bit of skew in there, or a little bit of blur in there, as to I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. And we know often, but we don't describe it enough. We understand it sometimes, but we don't describe it enough. So all these things help us in being able to project with confidence what we bring to the table. So some examples might be innovative, analytical, detailed, collaborative, strategic, compassionate, resilient, creative, empathetic. And we have here, if we look from the standpoint of your personal traits, you could be empathetic, honest, loyal, optimistic, resilient, compassionate, adventurous, patient, curious, independent. So we have here Pamela, who talked about helping persons to heal. Now, she obviously is motivational. She obviously she has to have resilience somewhere in there and move out of that survival mode. So she's inspiring people. Some of these words should be coming to Pamela's mind. We have the professional traits. So you might be innovative, dependable, detail-oriented, organized, ambitious. You have leadership traits now: inspiring, decisive, visionary, charismatic, empowering. Pamela, you would have to be empowering. Influential, confident, supportive, motivational, fair, creative traits. Some of the things: imaginative, artistic, innovative, expressive, original, unique, inventive, visionary, dynamic. Interpersonal traits: friendly, sociable, empathetic, again, communicative, approachable, diplomatic, tactful, considerate, trustworthy, caring. So Pamela does have some that she mentioned, but maybe empowering is one of those things that could be a word that describes her. When you're able to describe yourself and you're able to project who you are, all that you do, others see it and others want to work with you because you're projecting exactly what they need to solve their pain or to solve their issue or to be a solution to them. So let's move on. Any questions, please post them in the chat. So let's talk about identifying and defining your target audience. This is the exciting or even more exciting part here. You're reaching the right people with the right message is crucial for business success. So if we go back to what the lady said earlier, they said, let me open the chat. They said that they are helping professional wives and adult survivors of childhood trauma. Professional wives, adult, those surviving trauma. So you're reaching the right people with the right message. So when you define your target audience, you're reaching those married wives, professional married wives. You're reaching the right people with the right message. So you're understanding your target audience. That allows you to target your products, services, and marketing efforts effectively. So if Danielle is working with any person going through any type of mental trauma or any type of emotional trauma, that's fine. But who exactly, I know she works a lot with youth as well, but who exactly is Danielle targeting? Because she needs to reach the right people. She needs to know who she's called to. She needs to know how to reach them and what message will resonate with them. So there are some key areas here that are very important to the target when we're talking about identifying and defining your target audience. But understanding your audience allows you to tailor your product, your services, your marketing efforts effectively, leading to higher engagement, leading to conversions, moving from just being a prospect to actually being a sale. And it leads to customer satisfaction. What customer satisfaction leads to? Loyalty, because you understand every aspect of that customer that you are called to work with, that you're targeting. So I'm just trying to open my notes here so that I can explain the demographics, psychographics, and behavioral insights to you. So the three specific components or things that you need to focus on or we need to focus on when talking about target audiences are the demographics, the psychographics, and behavioral insights. And this is very basic because there are other aspects or other components that can be considered or are more advanced components of defining a target audience, because we can drill very, very deep down into person's lives to be able to market to them in the right ways. So just pulling up those notes for you. So when it comes to the demographics, let's talk on demographics. We have here, and I want you to write down your notes, please. So your demographics are those things like age, gender, location, occupation, and educational level. Your psychographics are the things like the interests, the values, the lifestyles, the personality traits of those that you're targeting or seeking to attract. And lastly, those behavioral insights, their purchasing behavior, their brand loyalty, their user status, and the challenges and pain points that they may have, the goals and motivations that they have. So when we are looking at our target, our demographic, we have to identify so many different aspects of them because it helps you to not only allocate resources, but more efficiently focus and market to them. It improves your customer retention as you cater to their preferences, their needs more effectively over time. And this is not a one-time exercise. As you continue to work over time, as you continue to offer your services over time, sell your products over time, people change, situations change, the world change. So certain psychographic and behavioral insights about the people you serve will change. Their demographics will automatically change because if I'm catering to you today and you're 16 years old, within 5 years, you're going to be 21 years old. So your psychographics are going to change a little bit. Your behavioral insights are going to change a little bit. Maybe a 16-year-old at the same 5 years after may be even thinking a little bit different. Therefore, it is your responsibility, our responsibility, to do those exercises that will help us, or do that research that will help us continuously identify with the audience that we are serving. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that you can use to gather this information. Some of those things are surveys and questionnaires. So you can distribute surveys to your current customers or to anybody that you think is the audience that you're going to serve. You can give them surveys. You can use Typeform, Google Forms. You can use SurveyMonkey, whatever platform you want to use or tool that you want to use. But it's to get direct feedback from your audience that helps you understand their preferences and their needs. What are their thoughts? What are their buying patterns and so on? Or you can do one-on-one interviews. So this demographic, this identity and defining your target audience isn't just you pulling it out of the air, or it's not just you having to do it by yourself. There are ways that you can get this information and hone in on and narrow in really, or zoom in on the specifics of the persons that you're serving. So you can do those one-on-one surveys. You can analyze data from social media. There's information on social media. The way that people do things on social media is quite different from how it was when it started. You can use website. If you have a website, you can track the behavior, the page views, who's going on which page view, where they're coming from. It might be a specific coming from a different geographical locations, different ages coming to your website. You also, if you have a CRM, if you have persons that are booking your one-on-one sessions or booking your discovery sessions, who are they? They're the ones that you can also talk to find out information about them and the type of things that they're looking for, the type of behaviors that they exhibit and so on. You can also look at competitor research as well. There's lots of research out there, lots of analytics out there, lots of reports that have been done in the various areas. Let's say, for instance, Veronica is dealing with those professional wives and those busy professional wives. I am sure that there are white papers out there on the things that are happening to busy professional wives. I'm sure there are white papers out there on the needs that they have, the pain points that they're experiencing, that we or you, Veronica, can serve, the solutions that you can bring to the table for them as wives. You can also use things like discussion forums. There's sometimes people are on social media groups, they're sharing what they're going through and so on. So all of this is to say, this information is not something that you do by yourself. You can, you have a general idea, but then you do the necessary research to understand everything about your audience, the demographics, the psychographics, and those behavioral insights. So these are the key characteristics here. Demographics refer to the statistical data that categorizes consumers or clients based on measurable characteristics such as age, gender, income, education, occupation, and location. It makes no sense knowing that I am targeting a professional wife and I don't know her income, or a specific professional wife within Jamaica, USA, and I don't know what these professionals are making or what they're willing to spend on coaching for their marriages. It makes no sense if I don't have this information. How am I going to position my products? How am my offering? How am I going to position my service if I don't have this information? How am I going to know what is the price that they will most likely pay if I don't have this information? Right? So psychographics involve analyzing customers based on their attitudes, their beliefs, their values, their lifestyles, their interests, and their personal traits. Now, if your client is a Muslim versus a Christian, that client is going to have different values. Both of them are going to have different values. Both of them will not do services at specific times so you will need to know that you need to have your booking open for a specific time when it comes to a Muslim client, because they pray at different times during the day. They do different things. Their celebrations are different. So you have to be able to talk to work with different types of people, but understand their beliefs, understand their values. Not everyone is called to work with Christian, and not every Christian is called to work only with a Christian, for example. So you have to understand the lifestyles, understand the interests, understand the personality traits. Let's say you were a designer and you're dressing, you're preparing clothing or making clothing for women who like to be chaste. Then women who like to be chaste are also Muslims as well. So that's an audience that you can begin targeting because of the values and beliefs that they have. And that's, of course, just an example. And the behavioral insights focus on understanding consumer behavior, including purchasing habits. Who makes the final purchasing decision with your service? Is it the husband or the wife? Who makes the purchasing decision? When do they make that purchasing decision? Brand loyalty, usage patterns, and decision-making processes. When are they going to be willing to use a coaching service? Do they want to do it once a month? Do they want to do it once a week? Now, if you understand the thought pattern of that person who has gone through the trauma, who necessarily doesn't want to be bringing up the trauma all the time, that person may just want to meet twice a month or once a month. Therefore, you're building your packages based on that knowledge and information, that data, and this behavioral insight that you now know about your clients. So doing business is just not about that idea, or going into ministry is not about that idea, but it's truly understanding who it is that you're called to, so that you can deliver the messaging, deliver the product or the service or the offering to them that meets their specific needs and agrees and meshes with who they are, because they will choose you if you give them something that they actually need, right? So let me give you some examples. Demographics refer to statistical data that categorizes customers based on measurable characteristics, and we know that demographical data provides a foundational understanding of who your potential customers are and allows you to segment your market accordingly. So example, a fitness apparel company targets females aged 25 to 40 with a household income above 50,000 a year. It's important for you to know who you're targeting, the age group, the specific age group. So what I would say to Veronica, and even to was it Jacqueline? I can't remember. Is that you need to know the age group. Is it every professional woman? Because they're professional women, busy professional women in their 30s, their early 30s and 40s who are married. And then there are the 40 pluses, the ones that may have been married for 10 years and they're just busy and they're at the point of no time for family. And it can happen at any age. But what is the age group that you are working with? When it comes to trauma, what is the age group that you're working with as well? Who exactly, Pamela, are you looking to work with? Is there a specific age group? And then we have here psychographics. Psychographic insights go beyond demographics. by uncovering the motivations and preferences that drive consumer behavior. So example, a luxury travel agency targeting adventurous individuals who value unique experiences and are environmentally conscious. So it's one thing for me to target, say that I'm a luxury agency, yes, and I offer such a luxury service, and I have all the best operators, I do the best meet and greet service, etc. It's okay for me to say that, but then is it that I understand that my people are those adventurous people who are environmentally conscious? Those that are environmentally conscious, I wouldn't have to put them in a green hotel. I would have to suggest to them a green hotel if there is such a thing. Now, being able, if you know you're targeting those people, the type of packages that you offer will be focused on environmental consciousness. And this might not be the only person that you're targeting or the only group, maybe 2 or 3 different audiences, but you know clearly that they're environmentally conscious. So what you offer them will have that focus in your package. And then the behavioral insights I have here. Behavioral data provides actionable insights into how customers interact with your brand, allowing you to optimize customer experiences and retention strategies. So an example is an online retailer analyzes customer browsing behavior, that's the behavioral insights, and purchase history to personalize product recommendations and promotions. So when I go into the back end of my website as a minister of the gospel and as a coach, I can actually see the majority of my people coming from Africa and the Caribbean. I can see who is coming to my page and the demographics about them. Now, the website does not give me age or anything, but I know that there's a major interest in some specific areas when I go into the insights in my website. So I'm able now, those are the persons now that I should be looking at to understand their behaviors. Why are you coming to my page as a Nigerian? Of course, I'm married to a Nigerian and I do have that audience, but why are you coming to my page? Why are you looking at, you know, the coaching aspect? Okay, so if African women are looking for coaching, let me do some research to see this audience that I can possibly tap into as a target. Let me try to understand some stuff about them, because the package that I'm currently offering, I may have to add in some other things that will resonate even more or even better with that audience. And it may be nothing more that I have to do, but then I'm supposed to be now maybe doing some advertising that would attract them, maybe doing some paid advertising that will only show up in the African areas that are coming on my website, and so on. So there's so much to this task of identifying your target audience, and you can go very, very basic to very, very advanced in order to be able to understand who you're working with and provide them with the best service overall. Any questions at this point? So let's network. We have 5 minutes. I'm going to drop you ladies into some breakout rooms. We're going to talk to each other for 5-7 minutes. If you want to have a break right now, get something to drink, bathroom stop, you can do that. But we're going to go into our groups right now before we get into the exercise. And we're just going to share something about our business. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to tell each other what we do, because everybody here did not share what they do. We're going to share some links to our websites and platforms and so on. There's not much of us, so I'm going to just do 2 groups, and then I'm going to swap the groups after the 5 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, we'll be back to complete our exercise. We have Nikki and Pamela and Jacqueline who have not moved into their groups, but please do move in. It should come up on your screen. Thank you so much. And Pamela, you're still there. Stephanie? Yes, thank you so much. And Stephanie Myers, you're the last person to go into room 1. Not sure what happened to her, but I'm going to join. So I hope you ladies had a great session talking to each other. The conversation was going so well. I didn't I didn't switch at the rooms because the conversations were going very well. But I hope that you were able to share some ideas, as well as, you know, get to know other people from different regions and so on. So next is we're going to do our audience research. So you're going to scan this code. If you aren't able to scan it with your phone, I can put the link in the chat. But why is this exercise important? We need to identify some of those demographics. Now, for this exercise, you may not be able to do any research because it's only a few minutes, but you can begin to think about who those are. You may know who they are. So you're going to be looking at doing things like their age. Are they 25 to 34, 18 to 34, 18 to 25? Are they female? Are they female, male, or both, or other? They have other here. We are not dealing with other. We are dealing with male and female. Are their location? What are their location? Is it USA, Barbados, the whole Caribbean, maybe 2 or 3 Caribbean islands? Occupation, job title. So what's your audience? They're professional executive. Perhaps they're marketing managers. Are they're marketing managers? They're 6-figure earners who are leading teams, maybe managers that are financial managers. So they're managers in general. What industry are they in? So we get it really specific. How much money are they making? So this can kind of be like a wish list for you without having that deep research, having done that deep research. Psychographics, what are their interests? What are their hobbies, their values, their lifestyle, their personal traits? Behavioral traits, how are they purchasing the services? Are they willing to purchase occasionally, monthly? So if you're a coach, you're looking to see, you're going to be researching over time. I mentioned some of those ways that we can research, but as I said, for this session, we're just going to be putting what we think we know, as well as what information you might already have. What are the challenges and the pain points? So what are the main challenges that they're going through? And you could easily search this online. What are some of the challenges that women who go through childhood abuse, what are the challenges and pain points that they have? The pain points is that they feel stuck. They feel like they can't share it with anybody. They feel like their mouths are closed. They feel like, what are the pain points? And what are some of the challenges? What are the things that they want solved? So not only thinking it, but actually researching it and having people that can actually survey some people that you may have worked with before. If you haven't worked with any before, you do a poll on Facebook, simple poll. Is there anybody here that's been through child abuse and that's still working through the trauma or has worked through the trauma? If you're willing to have a 5-minute or 5-question survey, just DM me. You don't have to comment because they don't need to tell anybody if they don't want to. Additional insights, preferred communication channel. Do they want social media? Do they want email? So this should have been done before because you would have done your research to figure out what your audience wanted, but we're going to still go through it. And you are going to also afterwards, when you're finished or when we leave here, you're going to actually do this actual research so that you know who your audience really, really is. So I'm going to share this link with you right now if you don't have it so that you do. Your audience research. Copy link. So we have up to 5:20 to get that completed. So even if you want to go online and do some searching, you can, but we just want to put you in the mode. I just want to put you in the mode of researching that audience and really getting to know who they are. Chat. It doesn't make sense saying that we're targeting a specific audience and we don't actually know who they are or have any type of ID. And that's what this exercise is all about. So as far as you can get in 20 minutes and do some thinking about it, you may not be able to answer all, as I said, but think about it. Go into Google if you need to. Search white papers on coaching trends or the customer coaching needs. of professional women, if that's one of your audience, and just see what you come up with. And even if you don't complete this, I want you to still share what you found if you do any research. Okay, so we're back again, and we've gone through that exercise. Is there anything that anybody would want to share about completing that exercise? I'm not going to spend too much time talking there, but then I'll show you how then this all relates to developing your persona. Is there anybody that wishes to share? One person? If not, we move right on. So the persona is really a representation of your main target audience. And a persona is just really a fictional representation of a target customer based on real data and research, not what we think, but real data, real research. It encapsulates demographic details such as the psychographics, demographics, the behavioral patterns, and define a specific segment of your audience. So why is it important to have a persona? The persona is just a representation of the target audience that you've defined. So what all the information that you define in your questionnaire or survey, you then put it into words. And that's what it is. It helps you to keep focused on that specific person, what they want, who they are, and what it is that you bring to the table to serve them. So let me just get my notes here on that point. So anybody that wants to share can still come on as I do that. So the personas, when it comes to targeted marketing, personas help businesses tailor their marketing strategies to address the specific needs, preferences, and behaviors of different customer segments. It produces enhanced communication. So by creating your persona, you develop a clearer and more effective communication across departments or across your business by providing a shared understanding of your customers, of your customer base or your client base. In terms of product development or service development, the personas guide your product and service development efforts by ensuring that the offerings align closely with your customer expectations and their desires. And lastly, it helps your customer experience. By understanding personas, businesses can improve the customer experience through personalized interactions and solutions. So you can scan this because this is an example. You always give your persona a name. You give them all the details that are in that survey, the age, the occupation, the interests, the challenges, and the goals. But I'm going to switch over now to and you can let me know if you're still seeing my screen. I'm going to switch over instead of you scanning that, or you can still scan it, but I'm going to switch over and show you this document. So this document is the template. You can tell me if you're seeing my screen, please, which says the persona template. But the persona template here, it gives you the template, what you need to put in, and it gives you this as a sample. So what you do is you define your audience in words. That's what your persona is. Defining your target audience. And very often you give them a picture as well. So the picture defines what that audience look like. So that picture might be a white person, it might be a mixed person, it might be a Black person that is married to a white person. It could be a mixture. or that what that persona could be either white or black. You just give that persona because you're trying to create the look, the person of themselves. This persona of Sarah, for instance, provides a detailed snapshot of her demographic background, her interests, her challenges, her goals, and behavioral preferences. It helps businesses tailor their marketing strategies and product offerings to resonate with Sarah's unique needs and preferences, thereby enhancing engagement and fostering long-term customer loyalty. So the persona description for Sarah is as follows. Her name is Sarah Johnson. She's 35. Her occupation, she's a marketing manager, not just a manager, but she's a marketing manager. She's from the urban area or the East Coast of America. She holds a bachelor's degree in marketing and communications and has been working in the industry for over 10 years. She earns a comfortable salary, allowing her to enjoy occasional luxury purchases and travel. Sarah is passionate about spiritual practices, which she incorporates into her daily routine to manage stress. So she's stressed. As a professional, she's stressed, or she may just be aware of not having too much stress, so she's taking care of that. She also enjoys traveling to exotic destinations and exploring new cultures during her vacations. So we have her interests, her challenges. So despite her professional success, Sarah struggles with time management and balancing her demanding career with personal interests and family commitments. She seeks solutions that can help her achieve work-life balance without compromising her career aspirations. So her primary goal is to advance her career in marketing by taking on more strategic roles within her company. She also aims to maintain a healthy lifestyle and personal well-being while pursuing professional success. And her behaviors, she prefers brands that align with her values of sustainability and ethical business practices. She values personalized customer service and expects seamless digital experiences when interacting with brands online. So this 35 years, we basically don't want to be dealing with all this paper. We don't want to be the back and forth. That's not easy. We want seamless digital experiences. That means for somebody like Sarah, if this is your persona, you have to make sure you're targeting these 35-year-old professionals. You have to make sure that when it comes to your back end and your onboarding, your communication with your client, everything is smooth and everything is a good and excellent digital experience. So you're not sending her copies of a contract on Microsoft Word for her to print out the copies, send it back to you and scan it back to you, and then you sign and scan it back to her. No, she wants digital experiences. So if you're dealing with the younger people, you want to make life easier for them. And this is just one aspect. So then you pick a system that allows you to do everything digitally and seamlessly. So then here I put it in a paragraph. Meet Sarah Johnson, a 35-year-old marketing manager residing in an urban area on the East Coast with over a decade of experience in marketing and communications. Sarah holds a bachelor's degree and enjoys a comfortable lifestyle that includes occasional luxury indulgences and travel to exotic locations. Passionate about yoga and mindfulness, she integrates these practices into her daily life to manage stress effectively. However, Sarah faces challenges in balancing her demanding career with personal interests and family commitments. So this person here is not only, I did a little switch out here with Sarah. So she's not only before in that longer description, she's not only a person who's focused on her spiritual needs, but here I put in this part about yoga and the lifestyle, because there are some persons who are looking for that work-life balance. You may not be a yoga instructor, but there may be things that you can offer them that help them to look beyond something like yoga for the experiences that they're looking for. So you have occasional luxury indulgences, travel to exotic destinations, passionate about yoga, mindfulness. She integrates these practices in her daily life to manage stress. So one Sarah is managing her stress through spiritual things, or other spiritual things. And this Sarah is managing her life through other spiritual things. So we have to look at, sometimes our audiences will have different needs spiritually. However, Sarah faces challenges in balancing her demanding career with personal interests and family commitments, seeking solutions that can help her achieve a harmonious work-life balance without compromising her professional aspirations. So more than anything else, professional aspirations is important to this Sarah. Her primary goal include advancing her career strategically within the marketing field while maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Sarah values sustainability and ethical practices in brands. She supports and prefers personalized customer experiences both online and offline. Understanding Sarah's persona enables businesses to tailor their products, services, and communications to meet her specific needs and preferences, fostering deeper engagement and loyalty. So all this is saying to us today is that when we can understand our audience, when we can understand all the specifics about our target audience, we are able to create this image of this exact person or your person, your persona within on a paragraph or within a specific set of paragraphs that explain everything about her. This is what is going to help you to streamline your marketing, to streamline your communication and everything else that you do. So let's move on quickly here. So you have that template, you can scan it. And of course, I'm going to put the link in the chat here that you can also, yes, Pamela, I can share it. So you can also take a look at that. So going forward, effective communication technique. So a persona is a fictional representation of a target customer based on real data and research. It encapsulates demographic details, psychographic insights, and behavioral patterns that define a specific segment of your audience. So here, one person, you may have more than one persona. You're not going to have 10 personas, but you can have 2 personas, depending on the audiences that you serve and the specific services that you give to or that you supply to each of them. So tone and language, tailor your communication style to resonate with your audience. When you know your persona, you can tailor your communication style to resonate with them. How a 35-year-old wants to read on social media is not what a 50-year-old or 60-year-old will want to read. Channels. If you choose TikTok for the Gen Z, fine. If you choose TikTok and your audience is over 50, you have a problem there. If you're looking for professionals and you're on Facebook, you have another problem there because the professionals are on LinkedIn, right? So there are other platforms such as, so what's important here is that you understand your target audience and you understand where they are and the type of language that resonates with them as well. So just want to give you some notes here. So you want to adapt your communication style to the different types of audiences that you have. You want to know where they are, where you can find them. And it is important for you now to think about the specific style, to think about where is my audience? Am I sending out flyers, creating brochures and putting them down somewhere, and the audience that I'm looking for is not there? My audience is those that are traveling, for instance. Am I targeting those that are traveling on airplanes, for instance? Am I targeting those that are on trains and on cruises? So you have to go where, advertise where, communicate where you can find your audience. So I'm going to leave out this messaging workshop because we don't have this 20 minutes left, but this exercise really is here for you to refine, to draft your key messages tailored to your audience persona. So the same description that was done for Sarah, when you go to that document, you are actually, and you finish your research for your target audience, you are going to define that main person, that persona. So this is, once you do that, you're able then to go through creating your key message about that person. And then we were going to look at what are some of the key messages also, not only the persona, but then what are some of the messages that we can say to them, or what are some of the things that we can say to them how do we tailor our messages for them? How do we speak to them in comparison to how we speak to somebody else? We may be speaking to other people that are not audiences and tailoring our messages to them when they're not. So we were going to do some feedback here, but time has passed and we don't have and I am not able to put you, I really wanted to put you in some tools to communicate this, but this is something that you can also share with me personally, and we can go through those messages that you would want to create or curate for those audiences or for that persona that you have created. So what are the next steps? We are about to go into our question and answer segment. You can scan this code if you want to have a call with me. I am open to conversation on how you can proceed with what you're doing, how you can do it better, how you can serve your audience better, and so on. But at this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to open up to unmute your Zoom, unmute your microphone, and you can ask any of those questions at this point. No questions? Okay, Pamela.
Thank you so much for all the great information, Vicki. This has been amazing. I've been to other marketing, webinars, and this is probably the most, I would say, comprehensive, because you're giving us templates. We're doing activities, so that's really, really, really helpful. Okay, so as far as the audience research goes, I think that's where I get stuck, because I keep hearing that this is what we have to do. Yeah. To tailor, to identify, those, my target audience. But I keep thinking to myself, is there some kind of like a software that the people use to generate this information? Because it's all data, right? All of it. So yes, there must be something out there that people have access to pull this data and make sense of where their target audience is, and to create that persona, right? Yeah. So I'm just curious to know.
Yes, there are some AI platforms that help you with your marketing strategy. You can use basic ChatGPT to help you to understand maybe what are some of the pain points of an adult who has experienced trauma, for instance, as somebody said earlier, an adult who's experienced trauma. What are some of the pain points that they experience? What are some of what are the needs of such an audience? And then you allow AI to give you those references. So you say, please provide any references to these, so that you can actually go to websites to see what information is available. So AI is very powerful. A lot of people have a lot of negative to say about it, but God has allowed it to exist so we can get information and be pointed to where. But then there are AI platforms and software that help you do stuff like this. There is software that I've seen in the past that allows me to put in my information, bam, 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 and I create the persona, and it creates the persona for me. But nothing, it's one thing for AI to tell you this information, which is good for research, good for the internet, but it's always good to actually have access to some research, to reports that have been done, and actually do some polls and surveys with persons that you actually know, people that you've actually served as well. But AI gives you a clear, and the internet in general gives you a clear understanding of some of those pain points, some of those areas that you can then go deep into. So maybe this is the 10 pain points that they will tell you. You can then take those 10 pain points and test the applicability to your audience. And you can do them in polls. It doesn't have to be anything big. You could do 2 or 3 different polls over a number of days. And then you can use these as a basis of conversations with any person that you may have a one-on-one with, a research one-on-one or a focus group with. But it helps you to find that research, some of the things that you need to be looking at and researching. And of course, I said you can say to the platform, please provide any resources online to such research.
Okay, great.
It works
Awesome.
easier than just searching on Google.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for this.
You're welcome, Sonia. My pause. What's going on here? Sonia, you can go ahead. I don't know. I thought I changed that.
Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, I just got through. I do say with Pamela to say thank you so much for this session. I love the fact that it wasn't just one to just sit and listen, but you actually challenged us. I honestly got stuck there on the audience research. I got stuck at point 1 in relation to the age range, because even when you mentioned about the multiple personas, that sort of like brought down the frustration a bit, because I was like, okay, you know, I do know that I have multiple hats, that multiple roles that I fulfill. So maybe I need to just take some time and look at this on a broader scope, rather than just thinking, okay, I got to be in this lane dealing with these people only. And that also helps to, you know, understand the multifacetedness about what we do as well. And I thought that this session also helped me to understand that a bit more. My question is in relation to the multiple personas. I like the fact that you said you can have more, but if you have more than 10, then something's wrong. You know, so I like the fact that right. I like the fact that you give us a cap. And I think throughout this whole session, actually, you know, like you allowed us to explore, but realize, okay, here's a limit. Not to say that we're giving you a ceiling, but at least helping you to, as you said, stay focused, get that focus and stay focused. And so in relation to the multiple personas, for persons like me who have like that multifaceted aspect of their, like what it is that they're doing, how do we actually, so then do we actually have to develop this persona, like actually go through the templates that you showed us there for every aspect of what we're doing?
Okay, so you're a minister, you are a coach, and let's put graphics and photography. Let's put graphics, coaching, ministry. And instead of ministry, let's put your author brand. So you have author, you have your transformation coaching, you have your design and so on. Chances are it could be that who you serve as a minister, maybe the same person that you serve as a coach. But then for the coaching, there may be an additional persona, because you might be called to the youth and you might be called to professional women. So what does that professional woman look like? And what does that youth look like? So it's not to say everybody will carry the exact same description of the persona, but within those audiences, you may have 2 or 3 personas, but I would say you can limit it to 2 within those areas, and some may overlap. So the persons that read your books may be the same people like you within a certain age group, busy entrepreneurs. But then you come to coaching, now you may have entrepreneurs and business owners, but then, entrepreneurs and professionals, but the entrepreneur may have a different pain point to the professional. So it takes time to develop businesses. So as you go through who you're targeting for each of your business, you go through this process. It may be the same person, or it may just differ, or they may just differ as you go through each of them, right? Did I answer that?
Yes, please, you did. You did. Thank you so much.
Yes, please. I wanted to share this again. Okay. Any other questions? I know that everybody has to drop off, but the next steps before we go forward, the next steps basically are that you can book that call with me. There's some one-on-one coaching that you can go through. There is different aspects we can work together in. You can go through your documents. You can ask me questions. You can set up a discovery call with me, and we can go through those things. But that one-on-one coaching is something that I offer. And in addition to that, you can also, there's a mastermind group that's going to be coming up, which is going to be a monthly membership where persons can have access to various strategic insights. We discuss our challenges, share our insights, and get access to premium services. And then I also do customized business audits as well. So I audit what you're doing. And then of course I do my VIP business sessions where I help you streamline your business objectives and what are some of the things that you can work on going forward. And then if you want to take that VIP session and turn it into one-on-one coaching to really help you formulate your business and your marketing, that's something that I do. But you can scan this code and of course book a call with me. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. If you scan this last code, you will get to my survey. And just, I basically ask a few questions for you to tell me how you'll be influenced by this session. And these are often used in reviews. But if you can tell me what you thought about this session, how it impacted you, and of course, any other sessions that you would want to see coming out of this or anything else that you want to do, you can, of course, book the session with me, or you can tell me in the group. If you want to leave your number, you can also leave it in the group as well, and I will connect with you on WhatsApp and we can start our discussion. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure being here on this wonderful Saturday. And any questions at all, please feel free to reach out at any time.